If you think this is about Israel, you're out of your mind. If you think that this Hamas business is about the Levant, if you believe this is about East Asia, if you think this is about Palestinian territories, if you think this is about Gaza versus the West Bank, you've missed everything. This is about a revolution. This is about the world. This is about changing the world. This isn't about that. You're going to see in this country next, you're going to see, we call them sleeper cells, we call them, there are various names for it, but you will see franchises taking place. Right now, I heard this morning, early, I was listening to First Post, I believe, or we on, I forget, superb international coverage. And I heard the name of about, I don't know, 4, 5 new Islamic groups that I've never heard of, all vying for the attention of the world, all vying to be the next Hamas. And what does Hamas mean? Money and power and prestige. And what do you think would be the thing that would get the attention of the world's terrorist leaders? What do you think it would take? What do you think? Guess. To do something to the great Satan. Think I'm kidding? Think I'm exaggerating? Think I'm missing something here? If you think that this is about Israel, if you think that this problem is soluble, if you think that there's something Israel could do, if you think that this is a matter of, okay, we'll just disgorge ourselves from remove. No. And let me also tell you something. And what I'm about to tell you is so difficult for people. I'm losing all of my friends that they kind of sort of got back, maybe, from the Trump years. I'm losing them again because of, I guess, and everybody is upset with me as to my take on Israel and Hamas. But here's what I'm going to tell you right now, because I know politics and I love politics. And I want you to listen carefully. Listen very, very carefully. Do you think that most people in our country have some affinity for Palestinians? First question. Thank you so much. 1-800-Lionel now. One power and prestige. 1-800-Lionel now. Could not agree more, sir. Thank you. Do you think most Americans, most voters, identify with Palestinians? Do you? Do you think that if I did thought experiment, if I did word association, if I said Israel, Palestinian. Now remember, you're maybe Trump, you're running, you're trying to garner the attention and the votes and the focus of voters for 2024. How do you phrase this? How? Rule number 1, never use the word Palestinian. What word do you use instead to represent these folks? What word? What word do you use? What word do you use? What name do you call the natural enemy of Palestinians? What do you call them? Hamas. Never say Palestinian. Now, what I'm about to tell you is a political theory. This is a political strategy, okay? That Trump or anybody could use who's trying to destroy this cancer called the Democratic Party. Never say Palestinian. Americans couldn't tell you the difference between Palestinian, Hamas, Hezbollah, or a hole in the ground. They have no idea. Give them a name they know. Call it exactly what it is. Wait a minute, my friend. Hold it. Mike Tewksbury joins us. Sorry I'm late. It's my husband-in-law's 30th birthday today. Well, happy birthday, Mike Tewksbury's husband-in-law. Happy 30th, my friend, from all of us, your family here at Lionel Nation. And we're your family. Many, many more. Many, many more. Please, please. Americans couldn't tell you the first thing about it. Do you think those people standing on the steps, do you think those people standing on the steps of Harvard and all these folks, do you think they represent America? Do you think those twits, those Phoebes would last 5 minutes in some Hamas heavy, you see the woman, morality law and morality police who was beaten, or I don't know if she died or she was in a coma because she wasn't wearing the proper headdress in Iran. Do you think these people would, do you think our gay friends would do great in Tehran? Do you? Maybe they would. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. They don't know what, because when you say I'm anti-Israel, you also are saying I'm pro-Hamas. Is that? Let's take gay people. Who do you think would fare better? In what country? Middle Eastern countries? Well, Arab countries for the most part. Some are more progressive than others, more moderate. Or Israel. You would have no problem in Israel. None. But part and parcel, what they've been told is they have the bumper sticker. And what they believe is all of a sudden, all of these, listen, there are some folks who wear various headdresses and hijabs and abayas, and I'm not, and I think they know the issue very, very well. And there's a lot to be said from the Palestinian point of view. But there's a lot of people who have no idea what the hell they're talking about. And their motivation is anti-Israel. Now, let me ask you a question. Professional Republican candidate, how are you going to pose this? You're going to say that, and I'm going to tell you something. You're going to say that this is about terrorism. Who remembers 9/11? A lot of folks don't remember this. I remember talking to somebody the other day who, this was, 9/11 was what, 22 years ago, right? 22 years ago. And I was talking to somebody who was, I don't know, fairly young. And I realized she said she was in 7th grade or something. I realized, oh my God, because I always think people are my age. So I said, do you remember what happened? Do you remember how the world felt about terrorism going after these people? Going after these people? Better to fight them there than fight them here. The smoking gun could be a mushroom cloud. You understand how this works? Remember how this was done? And if something happens here, if some bomb is detonated, if somebody is hurt, if somebody's whatever, I promise you, like I'm sitting here, the first thing they would say is, now do you know what this is about? This isn't about Israel. This is about terror. And you know who they hate more than Israel? Us. Believe it or not. Let me tell you what's happening. If you can imagine, I want you to imagine them scuttling a ship, a tanker in the Straits of Hormuz. Do you know what would happen? You have any idea what would happen? This is too complicated for most of these people because they have this left-right stuff. They have this Israel versus Palestinian, and it's like if you think that's it, if you think Americans care one whit about the Palestinian cause, they can't even explain it. No. Do you think when they see pictures of Palestinian terrorists, as they're told, do you think the American voter sides with that? No. Now, I'm going to say something, and I realize that what I'm saying is a waste of time. Because for the most part, people will not listen to what I'm saying because they don't hear it. Because I speak nuanced. I speak about subjects the way they are. There is no black and white in my world. There's gray. Make America gray again. There's gray and shades of gray. And there's, depending upon this one has a point and this one has a point. This one has a better point. This one has a, okay, fine. And people hate that. People hate that. But if you try to explain to the American public the notion of Palestinian cause, they have no idea. You say Hamas, different story. Hamas. It's become part of it's ingrained as terrorism. Bad guys. Bin Laden, Al-Qaeda, Bin Laden, Al-Qaeda. Do you understand this? Al-Qaeda, ISIS, ISIL, Daesh, Boko Haram. They don't know those words. Terrorism, 9/11. They're coming here. They're coming here. They better close those borders. They're coming here. They're already here. How do we know they're here? Just wait. What happens when something happens? Who's better able to protect you, America? Republicans or Democrats? You don't see this as the answer? Sam Shizer said, time to bring back McCarthyism. Why? Why would it be time to bring back McCarthyism? I mean, it's interesting, but why would you want to do that? McCarthyism, there was more to McCarthyism than people think. You know, there were communists in this country, right? You know, there were communists. There were communists and Soviet sympathizing agents in this country, right? You do know that, right? Make sure you know that. Make sure you understand that McCarthy was not all about being full of beans and all that stuff. Don't think this for a moment. There was something to this, dear friends. There was something bigger to it than you will ever imagine. But why do you want to bring back McCarthyism? Why? Someone said, why am I soft in the middle now? I don't even know what that means politically. You do know there's no left and right here, right? That's just an illusion. You do know that, right? You do understand this. Let me ask you a question. True or false? One or two? Yes or no? Answer this question. I don't give a damn what happens in Israel. I don't care one way or another. I talk about this like I talk about a lot of stuff, but I don't care. I don't live there. Doesn't affect me. Hell, they've been fighting forever since day one. How many people believe that? How many? How many? Anybody? How many people say, I don't really care? I mean, I pretend I care. I mean, I guess I care. But since my whole life, there's been problems in Israel. It's one thing after another. There's the Intifada here, the second Intifada, PLO. I've been chasing this story. What do I care about? How many people truly believe this? How many people say to yourself, look, I'm saying this because I'm kind of interested in it, but I don't go to bed worried about it. Not if it doesn't affect me here. No, you might be Jewish, you might have family in Israel, or you could very well think that Israel is a critical part part of the world, the epicenter of technology and democracy in the Middle East, a great ally. Or you could be like, I suspect most people, and they say, I don't care one way or the other. I don't know. I don't really know. I don't even know what Palestine, I don't even know what is Palestine. I don't know. Most Americans think that. I hate to tell you this. You understand this? Most people think that. Does that surprise you if I told you that? Most people don't know anything. Americans don't know anything. Ask somebody to explain communism to you, Marxism, fascism. The other one couldn't tell you. They have no idea. They think effusively. They think of this. But let me tell you what's going to happen. You're going to wake up one day and there's going to be something big. Now, we've had crimes in this country. We have that George Floyd crime. We've had, stuff that happened, stuff. We had the Boston Marathon bombing. Remember that one? That case was weird. Remember speed bump? What they call them? Speed bump and flashbang. I think Howie Carr named him that. Okay, that was that day. Okay, 9/11. But I want you to imagine something. I want you to imagine something like Las Vegas or Disney World or the Mall of America or Hendersonville, Wyoming, some little sleepy town. And somebody comes in and they have some kind of a device, some detonating device. It's detonated. And the world says terrorism hits America. What do you think you're going to hear about that? Now stop for a second. Think. What do you think is going to happen? How is it going to be covered? What do you think Mehdi Hassan is going to say? You know what's going to happen? All of a sudden, people are going to say, wait a minute. And then if there's the suspect, somebody with a name, not Funzi Nacarelli, but Muhammad something or other, I'm just saying, what would you do? What would be the reaction? And how would everybody say, wait a minute? What would happen to the frequency of individuals standing on platforms, screaming and yelling for the chanting regarding the death of Israel? How do you think that would play? How do you think? Huh? Any idea? How do you think people would dig the idea of that? How do you think the notion? How do you think, and this is important, how do you think everything would change? It would change drastically. Drastically. Do you understand what I'm saying? Absolutely, it would be the biggest change, and God forbid it was more than one. Our good friend at Sears says Canyon River Blues, a line of jeans found only at Sears. They fit right. They feel right. Hey, if I were in charge, man would live in jeans. These jeans only at Sears. Thank you, Sears. Thank you. I don't know why I'm reading this, but I don't know what else to do. Thank you for that. I want you to think about this. A cell, something, boom. What is this? Breaking news, developing news. Okay, you got that sound. You know that Fox News has the kind of a chime or a bell or something. Dong. Suspects arrested. Hamdi, but whatever, from, let's really, I don't know. Oh God, Iran. Oh, let's go crazy. Let's go nuts. Imagine if somebody, a suspect, an Iranian suspect, is arrested for detonating a you know what, you know where. How do you think it would change? It would change everything immediately. Overnight, it would change everything. People wouldn't know what to do. All of a sudden, they would say, wait a minute, I'm not sure I want to talk about this, this Palestinian stuff. Who are these people? Wait a minute. People aren't going to be able to say, listen, this is obviously maybe a false flag. We can't in any way forget this notion of the plight of this horrible. It would change immediately. That's number one. Number two, do you know what is happening as we speak right now? And this is the most fascinating, because I want you to understand something. My goal is to destroy politically, not but politically, the Democratic Party, to destroy it. It is my goal. It is my dream. And anything that I can do to do that, I will do that. I will go out of my way to do that. You see what I'm saying? I will go out of my way to do that. If all of a sudden I can point out the following, and I'm seeing this right now. Friends of mine, I told you this, and maybe you don't realize this. Friends of mine who are Jewish, who have an affinity to Israel for reasons that are obvious, who are not hardcore Zionists or not BB fans necessarily, but just but who fancy themselves as being liberal or progressive, cannot believe what it feels like, how they have been abandoned by their brothers and sisters. They feel abandoned. Do you hear what I'm saying? They feel abandoned. I don't know how to say this any other way. I don't know how to put it into words in any other way. They feel like, wait a minute. So what do? In the event, and I do not want this to happen, please beware. I do not ever want, nor do I condone violence. I'm giving you a hypothetical reaction to something. Number one. Number two, be very careful of people who would deliberately stage something in order to facilitate, to bring about the reaction that I speak of. Because let me tell you something. If something happened here tomorrow, believe me, the reaction to Israel will be completely different. They would say, you go and you finish the job. Right? Am I right? Absolutely. I know how this country works. And because I'm not the only one who knows that, I worry about somebody thinking, well, let's see if we can speed this thing up. Don't do it. It can all change like that. Now you have a group of people saying, wait a minute. Now you have America that gets real tough. Remember, George Bush's, the first George Bush 1, George Bush Deuce, their polling numbers were through the roof when it appeared they were defending us. Okay? Who benefits from that? Trump. That's number one. Number two, as I mentioned, I want there to be a fracturing of the Democratic Party. I want people in the Democratic Party to recognize the fact, to be in the position. I want them to be in the position where they are saying, I've been abandoned. I've been abandoned. I have been completely and totally abandoned by my party. Thank you, Burger King. Thank you very much. And were I to eat meat again, I would enjoy it. Thank you for that. Very, very kind. I mean that. Your kindness did not go without notice. Angela Palm says, thank you for delivering the true facts and incredible intellectual insight every day, my friend Angela. Thank you. What a wonderful thought. I want to go out and tell people, you of the left have been absolutely, positively betrayed by those people who claim to represent you. You've been betrayed from everywhere, from COVID to this nonsense involving climate change. Silver Fox says Biden would mandate a lockdown due to terror. You know what? They would call it, by the way, shelter in place. Shelter in place is the correct term, Silver. Shelter in place is used specifically as follows. Let me give you an example. Poisonous gas. Poisonous gas is released. A tanker turns over. A town is flooded, deluged, or whatever. People are forced inside. Shelter in place. That's what it would be. And people are so good at lockdowns and they would stay home. Now let's go through this. Let me go through this again. Keep in mind what would happen. If there is an event that happens here, I would imagine two things, two divergent opinions. One, hardcore, legitimate terrorists, if you want to call them that, would not want that to happen here because that would destroy and remove the attention that they want focused on Israel. Okay? Their job is not to wreak havoc in Cleveland. It's in the Rafah checkpoint, Sderot, Ashkelon, that sort of thing. All right? West Bank and Gaza. Plus, there's a Abu Mazen is, I mean, this guy, he's been ineffective. It's going to be Hamas. There's an internecine battle for the soul of the Palestinian soul. Do you hear what I'm saying? And if anything happened here, if there were a sleeper cell, that would ultimately hurt them drastically. Drastically. But it would help the Republican candidate. You understand how this works? Hurt, help, interesting. It would change the dynamic of everything. Number 2, sleeper cell. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Donald Trump. Maybe you didn't understand when I said build a wall. Maybe you thought I was being corny. Maybe you thought I was being silly. Maybe you thought I was just doing this just to be Donald Trump. Do you have any questions now as to the sagacity, the sapience as far as building a wall? Do you have any questions as to why that makes sense? I don't think so. Do you have any questions as to why building a wall makes implicit sense? Anybody? Any questions? It would change the dynamic of everything. And whom do you blame? Joe Biden. Ladies and gentlemen, and you just show a picture, again, of a hypothetical I hope never happens. But let's assume there is something. Let's assume there's a sleeper cell, and they just keep showing pictures. Do you want more of these? They sense our weakness. They sense our weakness. They recognize the fact that we're unable to take care of ourselves. They're testing our resolve. They are testing our ability to focus. They are testing our ability, our determination. And they don't think we're tough enough. Thank you, 1-800-Lionel now. Superficial? I don't think so. But thank you for that. Do you see where this is going? I love this layered idea. It's delicious, the idea, how I would craft this message. Craft it. And I would always say, never, ever, 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 ever say Palestinian. If you're running for office, you say Hamas. That's the difference. El Noir says, demand a ceasefire. If you stand with this side or the other, Biden wants to send troops to the Middle East again and won't hesitate to create fear. Mr. Noir, thank you so much. Let me add you a question, okay? Number 1, who is for a ceasefire? Now, would ceasefire be for Israel, or would it be served for the Palestinians or the Hamasans, as it were? Would you, sir? This is my first question. Demand a ceasefire. Demand a ceasefire, obviously from Israel, right? From Bibi, from Israel. Who is for demanding a ceasefire? It's very important now. Ceasefire, stop everything, hold it. Question number 1, who demands a ceasefire? Anyone? Let's do a quick poll. Anybody? When you say both sides, very good. Mr. Noir says, I guess, is this as in French noir, like film noir? Who? Palestinians are saying, but we're defending ourselves. What are you talking about? And the Israelis say, no, we're going in because of what you did October the 7th. Hamas is using Gaza as basically a launching pad. So we're going to go in and we're going to clean out Gaza. What is it? 1-800-Lionel now says, war hungry? I love this one. Eric Thaddeus Walter says, EBEs be like Clark Griswold in National Lampoon's Family Vacation when he takes the wrong exit ramp in St. Louis. No intelligent life here. Oh, absolutely. Eric, I've thought about that for the longest time. Now let's talk about this. A ceasefire. Now, people aren't thinking, if you don't have a ceasefire, here's my question. Number one, do you think Israel is going to actually go in and physically put human troops on the line, boots on the ground in Gaza? This will make Mogadishu and Fallujah look like a walk in the park. Anybody think that? Do you think that will be the case? Do you think this? Question number one. I can argue one way or another. First, I'm going to say that the thing that I would worry about if I were Bibi is that I don't know if anybody really respects the IDF as much as they used to. I mean, they might think, we thought, the Mossad was pretty good, but boy, they were lousy with that. Let's see what they do here. We haven't really seen them. They've got all these tanks, all these people. Let's see what an invasion looks like. Now, that's terrible to say because there's people going to be killed. But that is a consideration. Put that on the table. This is a chance to see, okay, let's see what the 2023 version of the IDF looks like. We know the Air Force. We know you're very good with that. We know about drones and intel theoretically. But what about artillery? Because this is the cleanup stuff. This is the hardest part of war. This is actually going in and going house to house or whatever, and either cleaning up or assessing or filtering people out. That's number one. I would advise any country, if you were in a position and you were for the first time in an actual war, we have not really seen this. You're on stage right now. This is stand up now because you're a big boy now. I think it was who was that? John Sebastian. You better do something. And the world wants to see a show. Other side of it is that show means death, carnage, and destruction. Did you see pictures today of little kids in the hospital? Did you see this? Little kids, they're flushing their eyes out. I mean, babies, little babies. Other side of me, I'm going to do like this, okay? This is a one side, this is the other. Other side says, where the hell have you been? What do you think war is? What, did you just wake up? War is a killing of old people, and young old people, and grandmas and grandpas and babies. Yeah, but when they see this, see things my ass, doesn't really matter. That's what war is. War is like that. That's the way war is. Okay. But we have to show them that the IDF is worth it. And you also have to show the people in Israel, don't worry, Bibi's here. We're going to protect you, because there are people in Israel that say, we're tired of this. Do it. We didn't ask for this. Finish the job. We didn't do October the 7th. They did. They knew this, knowing we would respond. Finish it. Other side says, this is suicide by cop. What are you doing? You're playing into their hands. They want you to do this. They know you're going to overreact. That's the purpose of this. They want you to overreact, and they want you to clean this up, and they want you to show, they want to be able to show the world that you're nothing but a bunch of savages. This is what they want to do. This is, you're playing into their role, into their whatever it is. You see how this works? Now, if I were just merely a military tactician, forget about humanity, forget about whatever it is. Well, what I do, if I'm a general, show them. Have them say, I would make sure This is me. This is me. If this were the United States, if somebody attacked us, if Hamas attacked us, I keep saying this. We are separated by the Hudson River. Jersey's over there. If we were shelled repeatedly from Weehawken or Hoboken or whatever it is for years and years, and they did an October 7th style, and I was the general here, as much as I love New Jersey and New Jerseyites, and we all intermarry, and well, I'm Mrs. Bell from New Jersey, I mean, I'm just, I would say, if I'm an American leader, I'm going to say, show them that they will never do this again. Have them say, remember 2023? Yeah, don't do that again. Remember when you took them on? Remember that? Don't do that again. Remember that? Remember what they did? They were waiting for us. Don't do that again. You have got to teach your enemies, don't do this again. Why? So that the rank and file citizen will say, we're not blaming you, Israel. We're blaming Hamas. What did you do this for? You're using us as a human shield. Well, congratulations. There's no more shield left because they killed us all because of you. Because of you. Let that change. Let there be within the halls of Palestinian, Arab, Islamic, from the halls of their Congress, this idea that, folks, we are living in the 5th century here. I don't know where this comes from. This isn't the way to do it. We were winning the show. We were winning, and now you see how this thing is? What do you think this is about? It's about the hearts and minds of the world. It's about winning the opinion of the world. So go back, I ask you, you want to do a ceasefire? Here's the other story. Here's the other side. The other side says, no, let's wait. We need more time. We got plenty of time. That's what Putin did with Ukraine. Putin said, what do I want to go into Ukraine for? We're going to put my troops in a meat grinder? What the hell's my hurry? What's my hurry? I don't have to do anything. What's the hurry? Why do I have to act now? Yeah, but the troops are, so let them wait. I want intel. I want to find out who's who. Maybe something can be done without having to do this. I'm not going to lose my men and women as they go in. Booby traps, snipers. You know how this works. We know how this works. Not to mention more innocent death. Let's see. So it's not that they're delaying anything. It's not a ceasefire. It's a delay. It's a tactic. It's a particular way of saying, let's assess what's going on, see what our inside folks say, provided they have spooks, see what's going on. Do you see how fluid this is? It always changes. It goes this, but what about this? Maybe that. Depends. And everybody's a genius. And I love when somebody says this. Let's go for the money, right? What, are you kidding me? Let's go for the money. Let's go for the people. Hey, it's Qatar. What do you want to do with Qatar? Oh, I don't know, but what do you want to do? Do you know what Qatar is? You need Qatar. Qatar's our ally. Qatar's the buffer. What? Yeah. Somebody's got to give me your cui bono or cui prodest. Who benefits? That kind of stuff. Brilliant. You see how fluid this is? There's no answers to this. There's no left or right. You better hold your nose, pick a decision, and hope to God you don't get blown up in the meantime. Because either way, the counterbalance, the countervailing argument is even worse. It's worse than anything you can imagine. That's worrisome. You better run. Says Armageddon in progress. Expect delays. I like that. Sad to say. Lionel Psychiatric Center. Are you or a loved one clinically insane? Visits Lionel's Psychiatric Center. We'd love to be able to help. Thank you. You know who, by the way, is there are more versions of kind of like a mental health febrility that I'm seeing right now than ever. Let me go back to what I'm saying. Do you think America cares about this? I still want to say, how do you work this politically? How do you work this politically? I don't think anybody cares about this at all. It doesn't affect them. A lot of people say, oh, it's Israel. Now, we mentioned this again, and I could not believe the argument or the questions. Will women be a part of this? Should women be in combat? It's the age-old argument. It's the age-old thought. Should women be in combat? When you see tanks going into, I don't know, the strip, and you see these bulldozers, I think they're called teddy bears, or I don't know, they got a name for it, but these bulldozers that are just covered in all kinds of, and you see women, you see women. By the way, how would that work? Can you imagine the problem? To be interrogated, to be handled, to be arrested, to be touched by a woman soldier? You don't think they've thought about that? You're being held captive. What Lindy in England did? Where is Lindy, England, by the way? Remember that? Remember Abu Ghraib? Remember that? What happens when women are, God forbid, killed or hurt or whatever it is? Do you think the world is ready for that? How will that even mix? Will that make any reference whatsoever? I say no. Can women serve in combat? Can women be just as vicious? Absolutely. Absolutely. Somebody says false flag. When people write false flag, are they saying it is a false flag? I believe it's a false flag. It could be a false flag. What does that mean? What does that mean precisely? Tell me, what does that mean? False flag means what? It's very difficult sometimes to follow and to see what a lot of people are saying. What does that mean? Now remember, you are part of the conspiratorium, and it's your job to always think of false flags and things like that. I don't know. There's no evidence of this. Next rule. Did you hear this lady, the story of this woman, this older woman, Lifshitz, I think her name is? I'm not sure, but she was released by Hamas. I read in one instance, they said, I was treated fine. They were very polite to me. They took care of us. They took care of feminine, products and feminine sanitation, and they cleaned the toilets. We ate their food. We had pita and cucumber, and they were treating me very, very nice. The opposite story shows they were beaten. They were stick. Whom do you believe? Who's telling the truth here? I don't know what to believe. There was a story by the AP that expurgated, Baudelarized, and emended a portion that said that somebody from the Israelis said something to the effect of, we will be using the same kind of techniques or the same kind of strategy that was done to eliminate the Axis powers. Well, that was elimination via, as you can imagine. Yet somehow that was expurgated from an AP story. That was removed and Baudelarized. Isn't that fun? Isn't that interesting? When you hear, we're still saying, was there or was there not a rocket that hit the hospital? Who fired it? Was it the IDF or was it some Hamas shell that was errant? We talked about it. We argued it. The IDF had its experts. Others either refuted it. Nobody cared, but we moved on. Whom do you believe? How does this even work? What's the United States? Why would Joe Biden care so much? Not Joe Biden. Why would Joe Biden's handlers care so much about this? I don't know. These are the issues which I find so monumentally fascinating. And what's also interesting is we're still seeing this as the new TDS. I'm seeing this. John McGuire couldn't get hired, said the old women could still walk. Yeah, we're not beaten and no bruises. At that age, you bruise and fall apart very easy. I mean, that could very well be, but I don't know. I do not know. I hope it's not true. The greatest thing in the world that Hamas could do was to say, we have a standing order. Women are not touched. Anybody who touches one of our prisoners, I will dispatch them. I will do this. We are soldiers. That was a big thing during World War II. We are soldiers. We're not rapscallions. We're not terrorists. We are soldiers. We have rules of conduct. We have rules of order. I want you to understand something, my dear friends, and I want you to recognize this. This is a very fluid, a very fascinating issue. It has many, many moving parts to it. And if you think for 1 minute that you can just answer the question, that you can say it's this or this, you're missing the point completely. You're missing the point completely. This is beyond, beyond, beyond complicated, like you've never seen before. And I want you to do your best not to answer the question. I want you to think of the questions. I want you to think, oh, if this, but then there's this. And if not this, then this. Okay? That's worrisome. You better run. Says, the hand that rocks the cradle should never know war. Indeed. How monumentally important is that? Indeed. Okay? Let me see. By the way, in the meantime, as we speak, they are doing everything in their power to double team, double cross, and dispatch President Trump. They're doing everything in power. Everybody's pleading guilty to misdemeanors. Jenna Ellis and Kraken Lady and everybody. Mark Meadows was granted immunity. Oh my God. They're going to come after Trump. And you know what? Nobody cares. Honestly, nobody cares. That story has just completely missed any and all. And I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. You see, I know Americans. I know what they think. Some things bother them, some things don't. Their health doesn't bother them, their looks bother them. If you want people to be healthy, tell them it affects their looks, provided the look bar changes it. Americans don't know anything. We're full of shite. We don't know history. We're very opinionated. We're loud. We know everything. We love to stand hand on hips akimbo as we point with certitude. That's the way it is. We have no love of the fluidity, the fragility, what am I trying to say? The wonderful protean side to things. You know what I mean? This how it evolved. You hate that. You love to hear good versus evil, right? Right versus wrong, right? I know what I'm talking about. You love to know who's the good guy. Who you hate the idea. Say, well, I know people who cannot possibly understand. Look, Israel versus Palestinians, who's right, who's wrong? They're both right. What? They're both right. There are Palestinian activists who will tell you we've lived through hell. They're telling the truth. You say, yeah, but it's not their fault. You ask me who's right. Americans hate that. Americans hate that. What is your main source of news, friends? Give me a word. Give me a word. How do you know what's going on regarding Gaza in particular? What do you look? Tell me where you look. What's your main, like to find out the latest, who does what and all that stuff. When do you watch? What do you watch for? What do you pay attention to? Just curious. I still love I love anything live on YouTube, maybe 3 a.m. I listen. I love Weon. I like first post. Palki Sharma is just incredible. Just incredible. Styx Hexenhammer, my man, love that guy. Big fan. One of the best minds, one of the smartest people, bar none. Colossal wit. Very, very good. I like to hear what people who were there. Palkisha always says West Asia, in West Asia. I love to hear. I was hearing about what's happening in Pakistan, the Indian connection, what's happening with our friend Xi Jinping and Putin. It's fantastic. You have a different perspective, and they don't necessarily hit you heavy-handed with stuff. It's beautiful, my friends. Just don't watch Fox News. Don't watch cable news. Don't watch cable news. I cannot tell you enough because they're going to uh, uh, Fox must always tell you that Israel's always right. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear somebody's always right. I want to hear when they made a mistake. And I don't want to hear that Jack Keane, that war hawk hack from the Institute for the Study of War. I don't believe them. His whole thing is this guy's promoting war. He wants war. The Institute for the Study of War says money. This is neocon. This is classic. This is from, remember, it's the Newlands and the Kagans. They run that. This is the war party. This is the war profiteer party. No, you can have that. I like McGregor. He's my man. I love that guy. Love him. Mearsheimer, phenomenal. Phenomenal. Mearsheimer. Somebody was saying, hey, what do you think about this Jewish, the Jewish, they own the media. I'm thinking, well, if they own the media, they're not doing a very good job. The media is 100% against Israel. 100%. Except for Fox News and others. Don't you love that trope? Oh, the Jews own the media. Really? Well, they're not doing a very good job. Unless they get a big kick out of owning something and having that thing that they own turn on them. All of the tropes, all of the memes, all the memetics, all of these adages, they make no sense anymore, my friends. These are different times. All right. Now listen, I want to tell you thank you. I want to thank our dear friends. Thank you. That's worrisome. Thank you, John McGuire. Couldn't get higher. Lionel Psychiatric Center. Thank you as well. I appreciate that. Eric Thaddeus Walters. Thank you. 1-800-Lionel now. El Noir in Jordan, I believe. Thank you. Good luck to you. Safety to you, my friend, to you and your family. Silver Fox. Angela Palm, thank you immensely. Burger King, we thank. Sears, we thank. Sam Shizer. Mike Tewksbury again. Happy birthday to your husband-in-law's, whatever. And 1-800-Lionel now. Now, tomorrow morning, my friend, we're going to be starting at 9 a.m. 9. Make sure, like I told you, make sure you follow me on Twitter. This is important. Make sure you subscribe here to this Lionel Nation here on YouTube. Make sure that you like this video and subscribe as well. And please hit the YouTube notification bell to be notified of live streams and the like. And don't forget my private, uncensored, culturally inappropriate private channel. Go to LionelMedia.com. Don't forget to follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors on X or Twitter. And Lynn's Warriors on YouTube. Thank you for that. And I wouldn't be correct if I didn't mention our great sponsor, MyPillow.com, the great, and preparewithlionel.com, where you can save $200 off a 3-month emergency food kit. Don't ever forget that, my friend. Don't ever forget that. And don't forget, too, I return to the cutting room on February the 3rd. That's just around the corner. That's what, 3 months? Really, if you think about it, it's 3 months. So doors open at 6. Get your tickets now, because once that number is hit, fire marshals say nay, nay, and it's all over. All right, dear friends, have a great and a glorious day. See you tomorrow at 9 a.m. as we pick up for our morning edition. Thank you so much for watching. And don't forget these words, a monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Da, da.